Oh. Here we go. Okay. You guys able to hear me now? Okay. Okay. Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yes, no, I'm sorry about that. I had one feature turned off, which was the, yeah. I have this setting where I separate my audio from my, video, and so it was that setting has to be, selected in order for it to stream. But okay. So, okay, here we go. Okay, so sorry about that little, thing at the beginning there. But, what I was saying is we're back here with the Saboteur open world World War II game. Very unique game, you know, one of the best games that I've ever played. And so we're continuing here, and we're continuing to liberate France
should
here.
be more careful.
Okay. Okay, take this too. Do you, are you guys able to hear me and the game? Like, is the game too quiet, or is it too loud, or is it just fine? Like, the volume on it. Okay. Take this disguise. Okay. That's not gonna reach, but okay, did good there. This game is on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. I'm playing the PC version. Okay.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, this is how you escape in the game. This is a funny way to escape from the alarm. Pro, you're a very good YouTuber. Thank you.
Let's move.
Okay.
You are away? Nice little village you got here.
Okay.
Findet ihn! Treibt ihn raus!
Okay, it's gonna take down that tower. There we go, another tower destroyed. Sniper nest destroyed. Okay, nice. Let me see here. They terminated who? Berlizzi, you said? Who is that? I don't think I'm familiar with that channel. Modern Warfare 2022 is getting the Red Dead Online treatment. What, that they're ignoring it? What exactly is happening? Oh. Okay, monument postcard found. Okay, cool. Thank you, Melon, for the super chat. Okay, wait. Have an idea here. Okay. I will watch this later as I still haven't finished part 1. Hope to do that tonight. Have a good one. Thank you, Mark.
Now we're talking.
Thank you for the super chat. Okay. Gaming playthroughs and comedy. What was the reason for the termination?
I should watch where I am going.
Okay. Oh, no, 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 that's not... I had to put the... Okay. Destroy this here. Okay. They're gonna be going to investigate that. Okay, we're gonna have to get rid of this tank.
Dachtest du wirklich, deine Verkleidung funktioniert?
Up.
Oh well, I'm not much for the sneaky stuff anyway.
There we go. Okay. The general, okay. There he is. Okay, general eliminated. Okay, we got him. Inappropriate gaming playthroughs? What? What do they mean by inappropriate gaming playthroughs? But, you know, I'll tell you something, guys. I've had my share of, like, of just YouTube just going after my videos for just stupid reasons. Like, do you guys know that my last part of my ending of the Saboteur, this game specifically, when I uploaded the ending, the video actually had gotten demonetized and age restricted, which I don't know why. You know, I know it's not a, you know, I know this is not a kid's game, but, you know, I don't understand the age restriction, you know, why that happened. And, they also they demonetized one of my Medal of Honor videos, too. And Medal of Honor is a rated T game. You guys can hear me good, right? I sound fine?
This must be the place.
This is just to escape a wanted level. This is...
You first.
But
Well, that was
basically,
easy.
I'll tell you guys, do you know what the stupidest thing that actually happened on my channel was? Like, the dumbest thing ever. So I'll tell you guys something stupid. So, literally, YouTube, what they did was, 3 years ago, more like 3.5 years ago, they actually gave me a strike. So I've had 2 strikes before on my channel. And, 3 years ago, I got a strike. And if you're wondering what the strike was for, it was my casino video on GT Online. So the GT Online, you know, casino, you know, just DLC came out. That was like July of 2019. And I uploaded a video of just me playing the casino games. It was just playing like roulette, you know, blackjack, you know, 3-card poker, you know, playing all of that stuff. And I did like a video giving some tips on like how to play these games and stuff like that. And what happened was, literally, a day later, YouTube striked my video and accused me of trying to promote gambling. That's what they did. They accused me of trying to promote gambling. I wasn't promoting gambling. I was just playing the games that were in the game, like the casino games. I never once encouraged real-life gambling, but they accused me of trying to, like, they accused me of trying to encourage gambling, which I wasn't doing that. And what pissed me off about it, what really pissed me off, is that there was a bunch of other YouTubers that did the exact same video as me, like very similar, where they played the casino games. They didn't get striked. I got striked. And what ended up happening is I went back and forth with like YouTube support for a month, and And what happened is, after I went back and forth for YouTube support for a month, they finally, like, removed the strike and they apologized. But even though, like, a month later they removed the strike and restored my casino video, it was pointless at that point because most people had already seen, like, other YouTube channels' videos on the casino. I was glad I didn't have a strike anymore, but, you know, the first 48 hours when you upload, like, a video, especially, like, a guide, is, like, the most important. And so at that point is, like, a lot of other people had already, like, do strikes go away? After 90 days, they do. But you still see the strike in your page, so that still happens. Okay.
At least
Let's see here. Okay, this will be good up here. Oh, I can't climb this? Okay. Yeah, this game is a lot of fun. But I'll tell you guys something even, stupider that happened to me. Okay. This person, we're gonna get rid of the sniper.
Ain't the same as killing defenseless women and children, is it?
Okay. One shot there. And the general. Okay, we got the general too. Okay. One moment, I'll tell everybody this crazy story here in a second. Dealing with these enemies here right now. Okay. Okay, here we go. I think this is a Flak 88. This weapon here that I'm using. Okay. Destroyed. Destroyed. Okay. I don't have to work on Saturday now. Oh, that's good. I'm happy for you, Jen. Thank you for the super chat, man. Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, it got me there. But what I was basically saying, though, guys, is I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. Yes, so I'm playing on super hard in this game.
Sometimes hear strange things here.
This is the Resistance safe house. Okay. It was the tank that got me. Okay, okay, there we go. Okay, so, what I was telling you guys is, you know, speaking of the YouTube nonsense, do you know what the stupidest thing that happened to me on my YouTube channel was? Is, 2.5 years ago, I was playing a game called Call of Duty World at War. And what happened was, when I was playing that game, Call of Duty World at War, I did the first mission. If people, let's see here, we'll get up there. So if people know the game World at War, you know, the first mission, Semper Fi. It's the one where, you know, you're being tortured by the Japanese and you escape. I uploaded that first mission, and right after I uploaded that first mission, what happened was YouTube gave me a community guideline strike. And basically, YouTube had claimed that I had violated the harmful and dangerous harmful and dangerous policy. So harmful and brutal policy, something like that. Let's get on this gun here. And I didn't even know what the hell they were talking about. Destroy the propaganda speaker. I think we got one more thing down there we can probably destroy. Okay, searchlight destroyed. Okay, good. Ignite this. Okay. Now, I tried to get that strike resolved that YouTube gave me for World at War, but I was never able to get that strike resolved. Never. It never went away. And the thing is, though, is even though it happened 2.5 years ago, every time I log into my YouTube channel, I see that strike, like that message that's been there. So I've had that thing for 2.5 years. And it just pissed me off so much because I didn't even do anything wrong. All I did was I played the first mission in World at War. That's literally all I did. I didn't do anything wrong. I wanted to do a World at War playthrough, but that stopped me from doing it. Okay. Yeah, and the thing is, I went back and forth with YouTube support about that strike. Let me see. I got a few, I'll send you some messages on PlayStation if you see them about it, but yes, they are favoring the free-to-play garbage over the $70 game. I did not pay $100 to get reused content. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, Melon. And I literally, for third-person mode, they took out third-person mode, and then there was such an outcry from the fans that they had brought it back into the game. Like, I know what you're talking about, Melon. Thank you for the super chat. And, love your South Park avatar. Also, how long have you watched the show South Park? Honestly, I've watched South Park since the late 90s. I was really young at that point, but I still watched South Park even when I was a kid. But, about that strike, what happened was, so, literally, YouTube striked me from playing Call of Duty World at War. And I had, tried to get in contact with YouTube support to try to see what was going on exactly. And when I tried to get into contact with YouTube support, they kept telling me that I had violated the guidelines. Like, they wouldn't give me an explanation. The support guy sent me, like, a list, and he said, you violated these guidelines, which I didn't know what he was talking about. I read the whole list, and I told him I didn't violate anything on there. And then he told me there may be certain things that's not on the guidelines that you have violated. I'm like, what? So then, like, not all the guidelines are written down exactly. And the story gets even stupider, because I saw other YouTubers that were playing the exact same, like, game as me, and they didn't get striked. And so what I did was, I had that YouTube rep guy, I emailed him back, and I said to him, I'm like, listen, these other YouTubers, and I sent him like 3 other channels in that email, and they were all popular channels. I said, these other channels here, they are playing the exact same game as me. And they didn't get in trouble. Why am I getting in trouble for this? And then he said in the email, he said, I cannot speak for other channels. That's what he said in the email. But you can speak for my channel, and you can claim that my channel had violated some stupid rule. And then what I did was, I said to him that these people are playing the exact same game as me, and they did not get striked. And these are much larger channels than me. And what happened was he sends me the stupidest email at that point. You know what he says? He says to me, if you think they violated the community guidelines, you can report them here. And then he sent me a link. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't want to report anyone. My point was that these YouTubers were playing the game and it was fine. There was no issue with it whatsoever. Why is it an issue with my channel? But that's how stupid the YouTube reps sometimes can be. Just like that. Man, that guy, that was just such a bad experience. But it's... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. No, I wanted to detonate.
Oh, crap, I sprung a leak.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Shite.
Oh,
I'm in
great.
trouble.
Yeah, this is exactly what I mean, is that in this game, you have to... You can't just rush in, because you die so quickly in this game.
The
Okay.
dead will forgive us, I think.
Sure, interest you in some personal protection?
Okay. Does YouTube have a number you can call? I don't know. I know there's reps that you can talk to, but it's mostly through email.
Maybe a new car, yes?
What is this here? This looks significant. Okay, yeah, this place looks important here.
I don't worry about nothing. The Bosch are running away.
That light, okay.
Wir finden ihn. Wir vernichten
The ridge stuff's supposed to stay on the inside.
Das war knapp.
Ah, come on.
Oh,
No, 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 no. There's one right above me. Damn. Ah.
The dead will forgive us.
I demand you play GTA right now, or I'm unsubbing. I've been a loyal subscriber for 35 minutes. I know that you're trolling, dude. Yeah. I used to actually get comments like that, and they were actually serious.
Weapons.
Or people would like threaten to unsubscribe if I didn't play GTA. It was a bit ridiculous.
L'arme? Weapons, monsieur?
The supply acid lab mission is annoying when your truck has a health bar and you have 3 motorcycles shooting at you and they keep respawning. That mission is impossible. Well, Feline King, I actually have a video coming up on, like, you know, worst resupply missions, like in 2023, which I'm definitely gonna, you know, have those missions on there also. Thank you for the super chat. But I don't recommend doing, like, you know, acid lab resupplies. Just buy the supplies for it because, you know, you're,
Bored of the old vehicle, monsieur?
yeah, you're, you can just buy supplies and then do other things in the meantime. Play Saints Row 2 right now, or I'll play Cringe Row. Thank you, Mr. Waifu. Okay. Okay, where are we gonna go? Let's go out there to the countryside. Let's see what's going on over there.
Peter, pass, sofort.
The Saints Row reboot combat, melee combat makes the melee combat in GTA 5 look like sleeping dogs. Yeah.
Good talk, gents.
They're gonna get distracted by that explosion. See if I can grab his disguise, but I guess not. Okay. Oh great, they're moving up on me. Get out of here. Okay, perfect. Does Red Dead Redemption 2 have a larger map than GTA 5? Many YouTubers have different opinions, and I don't know the right answer. Yes, it does have generally a larger map than GTA 5. And what I'll tell you about it is, Feline also, thank you for the super chat. Do you know what GTA game has the largest map? San Andreas. Now, I know some people might say, but Professional, the map is larger in GTA 5 with the square miles and everything like that. On paper, the GTA 5 map is larger. That's true. But, do you know why I consider San Andreas the largest map? Because San Andreas is the most stuff in a single map. if you look at GTA 5, they have Los Santos, but then they have, like, the countryside, and most of the map in GTA 5 is, like, mountains and fields, like, a huge chunk of it. Where in San Andreas, you have so much different stuff. You have 3 cities, Los Santos, San Fierro, Las Venturas. You have all these small towns in between big mountains. You have forests, mountains, deserts, plains. So it's like, that's why I consider San Andreas the biggest one, personally. Because of that. That tank's gonna go up in a moment here. Oops.
The whole area feels jumpy.
Leider zoek moest ein.
What about the whole ranking Reddit Online DLC video? I'm gonna have that out. I am, eventually. I just got a lot of stuff to do. Lore projects that I'm working on right now. It's David from past streams. I just changed my name. Oh, okay. Okay, David. Well, thank you for the super chat. Ow. I don't really know much about France's navy during World War II. I do know that Britain had, like, destroyed a lot of French ships so that the Germans wouldn't capture them and use them. But do you guys want to know what country was going to almost invaded America? And when I say invaded, I'm saying, like, this would be, like, this invasion would have been, like, 10 years before World War I. So there was actually a country that was planning on invading America 10 years before World War I. Does anybody know what country this is? They called off the plans, but there was actually a country that planned on invading America and taking it over. Does anyone know what country I'm, Yeah, the black and white areas are the most oppressed areas, so that's why it's like that here. Yes, you guys are right, it's Germany. Germany actually planned on invading America. That was actually a, and when I'm saying this invasion was not World War I, it was not World War II. That. So this planned German invasion was not World War I or World War II. This is 10 years before World War I, when it was still the German Empire. So they had, you know, Kaiser Wilhelm. So basically, the background. Why was Germany planning on invading America? The reason for that, it was purely greed. Germany wanted to expand its empire. Now, at that time, you know, 10 years before World War I, all of Africa was pretty much carved up. Like, all the European powers had, like, carved up Africa. And Germany had wanted a piece of that. And Germany did get a few colonies in Africa. I think one of the German colonies, I think, was Namibia. I think it was Namibia, but that was the German colony. But Germany wanted a larger empire. And Germany knew that they couldn't get more colonies in Africa, because then they would start a war with the other European powers. So the Germans started looking to other places they could colonize and take over. And so they actually looked to take over America. Now, the thing about that is that there's actually a huge chance that Germany could have succeeded in overrunning and taking America over. You might think that it's ridiculous, but the reason is because America, throughout its history, has had a very small military. A lot of people don't know that, but American tradition has never been a large military. It's never been a tradition for America to have a large military. That's only recently, until modern times, since like World War II, we have a large military. But traditionally in American history, we've always had a a small military. The founding fathers, for instance, did not believe in a large military. But we had like we've had a very small military for the most part. Whenever a big war did start, we would mobilize our soldiers, we would get our soldiers ready for a big war, mobilize a pretty big force, but then right after the war ended, we would demobilize. And that's exactly what happened during the Spanish-American War. During the Spanish-American War, we mobilized a large force, and then after we defeated Spain, we demobilized. The same thing happened in the Civil War. In the Civil War, we had the largest mobilization in American history, and we built this huge Union army, and then after we defeated the Confederacy, we disbanded the army. We still kept soldiers around, but at most, it was maybe 20,000 men in total. That was most that we've had. And this same thing happened in World War I. In World War I, we mobilized a pretty large force, but then we disbanded it right after the war. In World War II, we mobilized a large force, but we didn't disband it after the war. So after World War II, we've always had a large military, but for hundreds of years for American history, we've traditionally had a very small military. That's what a lot of people don't know about. But anyways, getting to the point with Germany. So 10 years before World War I, this is like around the time of Red Dead Redemption 2, when this would be happening. The German Empire wanted to conquer America, to take it over. And they wanted to take over America's industries and cities and basically make America into their own colony. That's what they wanted to do. And the German plan to invade America was so insane. What they were going to do is they were going to take several battleships, destroyers, dreadnoughts, and they were going to send them across the Atlantic Ocean. And what the German plan basically was is that the German battleships would arrive in New York Harbor with over 100,000 troops. And so what the Germans were planning on doing is they were planning on taking those battleships and they were going to shell Manhattan, downtown Manhattan. And the thing about that is if New York got shelled, they could have killed thousands of people in just a single day, just from that, because just how densely populated New York is. And so that's what they were planning on doing, just taking a bunch of ships and just shelling New York. And they were planning on attacking civilians. So they weren't going to be attacking military targets. The German Empire was going to be attacking civilian targets. Now, why did they want to shell Manhattan? The German plan was basically, they thought that if they inflicted enough casualties, just so much destruction, that the Americans would just give up. And we would just surrender. That was basically the German plan. But imagine how the world would have changed if Germany had actually done that. Imagine if Germany had just invaded America and just sent like battleships into New York Harbor and just shelled New York. Imagine how like the world would have changed. That would have been just a significant like that would have been one of the most important like events in history. But basically the Germans called off the plan because of their supplies. They didn't think that they didn't think that they could get that much supplies across the ocean, and they thought it'd be too difficult to fully take America over. So that was basically that. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Step right up. I'm ready to go.
But, do you know what other country also planned on invading America at that exact same time? There's another country that planned on invading America. Not just Germany, but the other country that planned on invading America, it had nothing to do with Germany's plan. Does anybody know what country that was? The invasion was also called off, but it was another country that planned on attacking America. This is in the early 1900s, by the way. So this is, 40, 50 years before World War II. Oh, great. I keep mixing it up. I hit the grenade button wrong. Nope, it wasn't Mexico. I'll give you a hint. It was a European country. It wasn't Germany. We just talked about that. Germany had their own plans, but there was a second country that planned on invading America.
I deal in weapons.
Let's see here. Get the Panzerschreck. And we'll get the silenced pistol.
Damn.
There we go. Stoner Koala got it right. It was Italy. Italy planned on invading America. Now, the thing about it is Italy's plan to attack America was actually a lot more realistic than Germany's plan. And the thing is, Italy didn't have the resources that Germany had, but Italy didn't even plan on taking over America. Instead, what they planned on doing is they planned on blockading and cutting off the Mississippi. So what Italy was going to do is Italy was going to send battleships across the Atlantic Ocean, and they were going to go towards the Mississippi, and they were going to blockade the Mississippi. And actually, America actually did not have a big navy at that time. We didn't have the Italians actually had a better navy than us. So if the Italians had actually invaded and blockaded the Mississippi, that would have blockaded so much American travel goes through the Mississippi, and so much trade goes through there. If they had blockaded that off, they could have probably negotiated for whatever demands they wanted. Now, why did Italy want to attack America? What was the reasoning for that? Germany's reason was they just wanted to take over America and turn it into a colony. The reason that Italy wanted to attack America was actually very different. And Italy's reason was actually more understandable. It wasn't right still, but it was a little bit more understandable. Basically, what had happened was in New Orleans. Let me see if I can get a thing. So New Orleans in the 1890s, New Orleans had a very big Italian community. Let's get down from here. New Orleans had a really big Italian community, and what happened was, this is 20 years before World War I. The Italian community that was in New Orleans, there was a mafia. There was two mafias that were in New Orleans. There was the, I'm trying to remember them. One of the mafia's names was started with a P, and the other one started with an M. I forgot the family's names. But basically, these two mafias were at war with each other. And what happened was, the police chief, Hennessy, I think his name was Hennessy, he had actually arrested a lot of the mafia. And what ended up happening is, one day Hennessy was walking down the street, the police chief, and he had gotten gunned down. A mobster took out a double-barreled shotgun and shot and killed him. Now, basically, what happened was Hennessy had survived for a little bit before he died. And the last words that he said was he said that the Italians had shot him. That was the last thing that he said. Now, what happened is, right after that, there was a very racist crackdown in the city. And so what the police did was the police arrested hundreds of Italians. Like, the police just went door to door just arresting random Italians. So if you just happened to live in that area, you were arrested, even if you had nothing to do with it. So they arrested hundreds of Italians. They threw them all in jail. And what happened was they put them on trial. And one of the guys that was put on trial was like a shoemaker. He had a business across the street from where the guy had gotten shot. He had nothing to do with it. The only guy who was possibly guilty on that jury was the mafia boss. The mafia boss was the only guy that was arrested that was probably guilty. He was probably the one who ordered the hit. It was never figured out who did it, but he was probably the one who had the police chief killed. But everyone else was innocent. All the Italians that were arrested were innocent except the mafia boss. And so what happened was, when the case went to trial, half of them were acquitted, and then there was also mistrial declared, because there wasn't any evidence. There wasn't any evidence that these people had done anything. The police were very racist. They started rounding up anybody that was Italian. And now the reason that Italy got really pissed off about this and wanted to invade America, how this get to this, is what basically happened was, when the people were still in jail after the mistrial happened, the jailers, the corrections officers, disappeared. And what happened was the mayor of New Orleans at the time had led an angry mob of people. An angry mob of people with pitchforks, torches, just a bloodthirsty mob. And he basically said, these people killed our police chief. And the angry mob of people stormed the jail and just murdered all the Italians. They just killed all of them that were in the jail cells. All these guys were innocent, and the angry mob of people just murdered them. And the thing got so bad that the mob of people actually took, like, Italians and just hung them from the streetlights in New Orleans. This happened in an American city. It was a mob of people that was hanging Italians from, like, streetlights. It was one of the worst, one of the worst events in American history. I don't remember how many victims died, but it was a significant amount. And the worst part, one of the worst parts about the story is the mafia boss escaped. So the mafia boss is actually one of the few people that didn't get killed by the mob. The mob killed, instead, all the innocent people. And so Italy got really pissed off at America for this, and all these Italians had gotten murdered, and the Americans did nothing about it. And Italy basically told the Americans to arrest these people who were involved in the mob that killed these people, and the U.S. government refused to arrest those people. And so what happened was Italy then was about to declare war, and they were threatening to send battleships over into the Mississippi to blockade it, and until their demands were met. And how it basically cooled down is the U.S. government agreed to pay out compensation to the victims' families. So the Italians that were murdered, the U.S. government agreed to pay the victims' families. But what happened was the compensation was not enough. I don't think it was even that much. But that's basically it. 11 people died. So that was it. So it was the massacre in New Orleans. You could look this up. And that's basically why Italy planned on attacking America. It was because the U.S. government had done nothing to protect the Italians who had gotten murdered, and did nothing to prosecute the people that were involved. The mayor of New Orleans was involved in this. He had led the angry mob. The mayor didn't get arrested. So it was the mayor had blood on his hands. But that was like that. And it's one of the worst lynchings in American history when that happened. But that's why Italy planned on invading America. It was because of that event. But that was one of the worst things in American history. Okay, speaker destroyed. No, I haven't heard about that. Gunner. You're telling the whole town of New Orleans? No, the whole town of New Orleans didn't do that, but it was a big mob of people. Like imagine like hundreds of people, like just in a big mob, just beating people up. And the thing about this is, a lot of times people don't realize people don't realize how easy it is to die from a fist fight. Like, a lot of people think that a fist fight isn't gonna kill you, but people don't realize how easy it is to die from a fist fight. Now, if you're fighting just one person in a fist fight, you can still die from it. But imagine if you're fighting like 5 people. Imagine just 5 people jump you, and all 5 of those people, they knock you to the ground, and they're all kicking you. All 5 of those people are kicking you. They kick you in the head. They kick you in the chest. They kick you in the important parts of your body. You could die within a few minutes just with that. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that fists can kill you really quickly. And that's exactly what happened in New Orleans. This mob of people was just beating Italians to death and then hanging them from light posts. It was really, really horrible. I learned more listening to you than school. Thank you, man. Oh, that's the French tank, I think, right there. Speaker destroyed. Okay, there we go. Let's get out of here. Can you please say Vive la France for me? Vive la France. Okay, let's go here. Got a bridge up here. We'll destroy that right now. I did say it during the playthrough too. What do you know about foreign involvement in the American Civil War? The thing is about it is that there really wasn't that much foreign involvement in the American Civil War, but what I will say is that at the same time the American Civil War was going on, the entire North American continent was engulfed in war. And it wasn't just America. Mexico was fighting France. So France invaded Mexico at the exact same time there was an American Civil War going on. And it was because France was taking advantage of the situation that was going on in America to invade Mexico. Now, basically, I think it was the Monroe Doctrine. Which basically, the Monroe Doctrine was an American law that was passed, which said that European powers are not to interfere in North American policies, and Americans won't interfere in European policies. And so America probably would have defended Mexico from France if France had, if we weren't involved in the Civil War. So that's why France had actually attacked at that time to try to take over Mexico. The Mexicans ended up winning. But about foreign involvement is
Here it comes.
Here we go. Oh no, it's terrorist squad troopers here too. Okay, got that. The closest to foreign involvement in the Civil War was basically the British had good relations with the Confederacy. And the British did help the Confederacy with some trade. And the thing about this is it's extremely hypocritical because Britain was one of the first Western countries to abolish slavery in the 1830s. Revolutionary France is actually the first Western country to abolish slavery, but then when Napoleon came to power, he reinstated slavery. But Britain, the point that I'm getting at, Britain was one of the first countries that had abolished slavery in the West. And even though they had abolished slavery in the West, they were helping the Confederacy with trade and such. Now, why was Britain helping the Confederacy if they were against slavery? The reason for that was because America and Britain were not allies at that time. We weren't enemies, but we were rivals. That's what I would call us. What a lot of people don't know about American and British history is that the U.S. and Great Britain hated each other through most of their history. America and Britain did not become allies officially until after World War I. That's really when we kind of became allies. Before that, we really didn't like each other. And so Great Britain was kind of taking advantage of the chaos that was going on in America. And the other reason was that Britain didn't want to piss off the Confederacy because the vast majority of their cotton actually came from the South. And so Britain did not want to lose that. And so the U.S. got really pissed off at Britain for trading with the Confederacy. You know, we had a right to be pissed off with them because they were trading with our enemy. So there was
Fucking hell, bleeding all over.
But yeah, a lot of people don't know about that part. Let's get over here, take this guy down. Got him. Would take this one here. Okay, plan to destroy this bridge here. But yeah, Britain did some really messed up things throughout its history that a lot of people might not know about. Like I said earlier, like one of them was helping the Confederacy. You can look that up. They did help. They didn't help a lot, but they did provide them with a few things. So you know they shouldn't have done that. You know, one of the worst things that the British Empire did that you don't really hear about is when the Opium Wars in China. The Opium Wars in China were one of the worst things the British Empire did. And basically what the Opium Wars in China were is that the British merchants had gone into China trying to sell opium. And basically they were drug dealers. That's pretty much what they were. And what happened was the Chinese got pissed off and arrested the British opium dealers and said, get out of our country, stop selling drugs here. And the British government, they were collecting tax money from those merchants. So the merchants were selling drugs in China, and the British government was taxing the merchants and collecting money from that. And they knew they were selling drugs, but they didn't care. They were just cared about the tax revenue they were getting.
Not smart.
What ended up happening is, after the Chinese refused to stop arresting the British merchants, Britain invaded China, sent several battleships into Chinese harbors, and had basically forced the Chinese into submission, into legalizing opium. And so the Chinese were basically forced to allow opium to be sold in their country, and it got thousands of people addicted to opium in China. Now, the thing about this, if you look at British law at that time, opium was illegal in Britain. So even though opium was illegal in Britain, they were selling it in China. And why was opium illegal in Britain? The reason it was illegal in Britain was because the British didn't want their own people getting addicted to it, but they were fine with the Chinese getting addicted to it. So that's one of the worst things the British Empire did in their history. Let's see, we got a hiding spot right here. You know your history. Thank you.
About bloody time. Where were we?
What would have happened if the South would have won? It would have been really bad. America probably would be two countries today if the South had won. But if the South had won the Civil War, slavery would have gone on for probably at least another 30, 40 years. In the South, at least. What probably would have happened is if the Confederacy if the Confederacy somehow did win the Civil War, if it was like the 1900s and they still had slaves, the vast majority of the world would have embargoed them at that point. But yeah, that would have been really bad. And also, any slaves that would have helped the Union would have been probably killed after the war had ended. Let me see here. I need a car. But yeah, I will say though that let's get that car over there. Wait,
I
actually,
think
I
I'd go
can just...
tits up without me smokes.
I have a car delivered here. I forgot about that. Oh, it's this junk car. I gotta change my default car.
Monsieur, here's your car.
But, what I'll tell you is, one of the things that is, like, one of the things that's very, like, that's false that you hear people saying about, like, people ask me all the time, like, what's one of those things that you learn about in school that's not true? One thing that it's not really, you don't really learn it in school. I guess it depends on the school, because I guess some schools might suggest it, but it's more about, it's more about this ridiculous, like, theory that a lot of people have. And I mentioned this before, but for some reason, I don't know why this is, but, like, a lot of people, when we're referencing the Civil War, for some reason, there is a lot of people out there that don't think the Civil War was for slavery. They think the Civil War they think the reason the South seceded wasn't for slavery. They think it was over states' rights. That's really what they think. And that's completely false. That's not true. It was like the Civil War was mainly over slavery. That's the whole reason that the South had seceded. And so they keep referencing, like, you know, these states' rights issues, but it has nothing to do with that. If you look at, I don't know how somebody can honestly sit there and tell me that the South did not support, like, the Confederacy did not support slavery, when that pretty much is what happened. It's all the top leaders in the Confederacy were slave owners, and they supported slavery. The only major Confederate leader that was against, the only major Confederate leader that was actually against slavery is Robert E. Lee. And so, a lot of people point to that, and they say that, oh, Robert E. Lee was against slavery, and so then they say that, oh, that's proof that the Confederacy was not for slavery. That's not proof. The reason that Robert E. Lee fought for the Confederacy, even though he was against slavery, was because he was loyal to the South. That's what it was. He was more loyal to the South than the entire country. That was the whole reason for it. He opposed slavery, but Robert E. Lee was still a massive racist. I mean, Lincoln was a racist too, but Lincoln had wanted to abolish slavery ultimately. While Robert E. Lee was against slavery, he was willing to overlook that and instead fought for the South. So if you look at the Confederacy's, like, founding documents, they mention slavery, and so it's like I don't know how honestly somebody can sit there. Like, I support states' rights. I don't like big government. I like small government. Don't get me wrong, but, like, the Civil War had nothing to do with states' rights. It was primarily for slavery, and it's un-American, you know, to be able to own another human being as property. So that was I hear that so many times. People say that it was like a war of northern aggression or some crap like that. I hear that constantly. That's not true. And the thing about this is that you could actually argue that the Civil War is a war of southern aggression instead of the North, which you constantly hear people espouse that propaganda. And the reason that you can claim that is because the Confederacy were the ones who attacked Fort Sumter. So it was a Union. That's what started the Civil War. If you look at the first battle of the Civil War started it was when the Confederacy had attacked Fort Sumter. So they attacked the Union fort. So they were the ones who fired the first shot. So literally, the North had tried to negotiate several times with the Confederacy. They tried to stop the war from happening, but the Confederacy just kept pushing it and pushing it. And so ultimately, they were the ones who started the war. They were the aggressors. Okay, this is a V2 rocket here. How am I gonna do this here? Okay, there we go. There we go. Destroyed. How many rounds do you have to put into Terror Troopers? Oh, they survived magazines of They were all slave owners? No, not everyone in the South was a slave owner. But the reason the Civil War happened, the leaders, they did it primarily for slavery. That was it. thank you for discussing history in my channel. It's my favorite aspect. Well, thank you. Waiting for that car just to drive away. Well, what controversy surrounding Hogwarts Legacy? What happened? Oh, I missed a few super chats. I apologize, everyone. Let me see here. Pro, what do you think about the controversy surrounding Hogwarts Legacy and J.K. Rowling? I actually have no idea what you're talking about, Greatest Within. Can you explain to me? Thank you for the super chat. I read about this crazy event that happened years ago. Vegan protesters went to a KFC and one of them poured red paint all over the floor while others were playing videos of animals slaughtering. What? Those people sound like a bunch of idiots. Pro, it's best you keep yourself away from the Harry Potter drama. Probably, yeah, you're probably right on that. I don't even know what this Harry Potter drama is.
Fair day's labor for a fair day's pay.
Are the Terror Troops in the game real? I don't know about the uniforms, if those uniforms are real, but there were, like, elite SS commandos that was, like, that, yes, they did exist, but the guns the Terror Troopers have, like the MP60 and stuff like that, those weren't real, weapons. So this is a French coastal town, and the enemies that you actually fight here in this, these are not Wehrmacht. These are actually Kriegsmarine, so German Navy is occupies this town. And they wear different uniforms than the Wehrmacht do. Kriegsmarine soldier disguise, okay.
Oh, Jesus Maria!
Okay, take the MP42.
New goods, best quality. I want to be a writer someday.
He's got a weapon!
Okay. Oh, I see there's a general on that dock. Okay. Okay. Okay, I have an idea. I need to be very careful here because it's very easy for me to die, but I do have an idea of what I can do. Man, look at those guns. Okay. A lot of fuel here to destroy. Need to be very careful around here. I do got an idea. Okay. This explosion should draw them away now. Ah, no, that's not. Oh, great. No, no, no. Ah, no. Yeah, he gets surrounded so quickly in this game, man.
I know it is necessary, but hiding in here just feels.
I appreciate your speech on George Washington relinquishing his power and how important it was to world history. Yeah.
Interest you in
And,
some personnel protection?
You know, George Washington, I generally do think he was the best, like, you know, the best, you know, president that America has ever had. He wasn't a perfect guy, don't get me wrong. He did do mistakes. He did some bad things, too. But I think he was generally, like, you know, the best president that the U.S. has ever had. And the reason that I think he was a, you know, good leader was because without him, this country would not exist.
We've got a few different cars.
And on top of
Look
that,
around.
let me see here, Aurora, is December 23rd, he actually relinquished power. He did. So, if Washington wanted to, he could have overthrown the government and declared himself president for life. He could have declared himself king or dictator, and nothing would have been able to stop him. Like, he was that powerful at that time. But he instead gave up power willingly, which, do you ever hear anything like that? A leader who gives up power willingly? If you compare him to, like, for example, Napoleon exploited the French Revolution in order to gain power. He exploited the French Revolution so he could eventually, you know, become dictator. But, like, you know, Washington never did that. So it was, Herbert Hoover is definitely the worst. He's definitely in my top 5 worst presidents, but I wouldn't say that Herbert Hoover is the worst one. The worst president, I would say, would have to be James Buchanan. And the reason that James Buchanan sucked so much is because Buchanan did nothing to stop the Civil War from happening. Like, he was the president right before Lincoln, and he did nothing to stop the Civil War. Nothing. And in fact, he actually sucked up a lot to the Confederacy. So he gave the Confederacy what they wanted for the most part, and he did nothing to stop that. So that was, so when Lincoln came to power, he inherited a huge mess that Buchanan left for him. So that was, a president that literally did not stop the Civil War from happening, I would say, would be probably the worst one, Buchanan. Lincoln actually tried his best to stop the Civil War from happening, but it was, Lincoln, you know, was a so much better president than Buchanan, but Buchanan was an idiot. But Hoover was an idiot, too. He was, you know, a complete, you know, buffoon, too. Oh, yeah, Andrew Johnson was a scumbag, too. And the thing is, that's actually why Lincoln chose him to be his vice president. Lincoln chose Andrew Johnson, a Southerner, to be his vice president so that he could try to stop the Civil War from happening. That was one of the reasons he had Johnson as his vice president. But Johnson was a really scummy guy. And do you know what the stupidest thing about this is? That when Lincoln had died, when he had gotten assassinated, you had so many people in the South that were celebrating that. And they were happy that Andrew Johnson was going to become president. But what those idiots didn't realize is that even though Andrew Johnson was going to become president, Andrew Johnson, even though he was a Southerner, hated other Southerners. He was a scumbag in his own way. But the reason that Andrew Johnson hated a lot of Southerners, even though he was a Southerner himself, was because Andrew Johnson grew up with, like, a lot of those old school, like, Southern aristocrats. And basically, they looked down on him. And so they treated him like a peasant. And so basically, when he was going to come to power, he was going to, you know, make it as bad as possible for them. Lincoln was actually the best guy to have been president. Reconstruction would have gone a lot better if Lincoln was president. If Lincoln was president, Reconstruction would have gone so much better. But unfortunately, Lincoln had gotten assassinated.
Want something?
Yeah, I'll do Black Ops 2 one day. But, yeah, Andrew Johnson was, you know, scummy, very scummy, president. He was extremely racist. Andrew Johnson also made it very, he made it very hard for African Americans to gain equality after the Civil War had ended. How come you don't have a beard? Because I really don't like facial hair.
Yeah, sorry. He just pulled it out.
Okay.
Moment.
I should have probably brought the sniper rifle with me.
Shite! Bleeding!
Okay. Okay, let's see. What do we got left to destroy here in this town? We're actually doing pretty good with this town. Okay, moving up. Gotta be careful here. Don't want to hurt any civilians. Great. Ah, damn. Yeah, they surround you so quickly. There was an MG42. You're so smart, pro. You know a lot. Well, thank you.
But hiding in here just feels sacrilegious.
What is your opinion on guns from the Cold War era? Well, thank you for the super chat.
You need
I think
something
I think
deadly.
the AK-47 is probably the greatest, assault rifle ever made. Because the AK-47 was just so simple to produce, and it was just, it's the AK-47 is the most mass-produced, assault rifle in history. It was cheap, it was affordable, it was reliable. Yeah, I just looked 3rd Street. I'm sorry I missed your super chat earlier.
Monsieur, s'il vous plaît, just a little change to get some food.
Oh no. No.
Together.
Damn, that's how quick you can die in this game.
I deal in weapons.
Let's do the Viper SMG. What are your thoughts on Gaddafi? Oh,
You need a different gun.
the former dictator of Libya? That guy, that guy was like a, that guy was a scumbag, but what I'll say about, Gaddafi is, Gaddafi was actually responsible for destroying Pan Am Flight 103. A lot of people don't know about that. It was, he helped terrorists that actually blew up a civilian airliner, put a bomb on it, and killed like 100-something people on that flight. But about Gaddafi is that my personal opinion on it is that while I think Gaddafi was a scumbag, the West messed up a lot in Libya, like really badly, because the West had overthrown Gaddafi without any kind of plan. Like there was no plan. Like they overthrew him without any kind of plan, And what happened is today, Libya is a giant mess. It's a country that's been in civil war for 10 years, and Libya actually has 2 governments to this day. So it's 2 governments in like an endless civil war, and it's like Libya is a giant mess today. So yeah. So my opinion is Gaddafi needed to go. I think he did need to go, but I don't like. What's stupid is when you do something like that, you overthrow a government without any kind of plan whatsoever afterwards, and it just leads to stuff like that happening. What would you send Idi Amin? Oh, Idi Amin was very brutal. The Ugandan dictator, that guy. And Idi Amin, he was actually allies with Gaddafi, so Gaddafi and him were actually allies. Gaddafi actually helped Idi Amin when he invaded Tanzania. Yes, he did. Gaddafi supported a lot of terrorist groups, so we know about that, yeah.
You aren't worth a fucking air biscuit.
Yes, don't.
Okay, that's that.
Wird auch Zeit! Verdammt!
Keine Sorge, ich, der Saboteur, legst du nicht rein, ihr Rebel.
Steh unter Beschuss! Steh unter Beschuss!
Damn, no. Oh, man, I was trying to shoot that guy out, and then the MG42s got me. No, I know about that, CT. You know, one person asked me about it. Gaddafi was a scumbag. He deserved to go. The only thing I was saying about it was that basically what had happened was a lot of like Western countries had overthrown him without any kind of plan. Like there was no plan for what was after his government, and literally what the result of that was Libya is now in 10 years of civil war. So it's okay, let's get up here. Can you get rich from becoming being a YouTube gamer? Sure, it's possible. There's a lot of YouTubers that are gamers that are very rich. However, though, what I will say about it is that the worst possible thing that you can do is can I even use this gun? Oh, I can. Oh, I can. This is the naval gun. Oops, okay. There we go, look at that, that's all gone now. Okay, we need,
Oh crap, I sprung a leak.
okay, let's see, do I have anything left here? Oh, I have a few things in the castle. Is the main character Irish? Yes, he is. Okay. What do we got here? Let's see. Great terror trooper.
Right. No more of that then.
I saw the Medal of Honor playthrough and left the history facts about the bridge mentioned in that playthrough in the comment section. Go check it out. Okay, I will. Patrick, thank you for the super chat. I'll just read it after the stream and I'll reply to you. Okay, man? But thank you for the super chat. Oh, there's still one more thing left in this castle to get. Okay. It's up there. Oh, great, I'm getting shot at already. Come on, Sean, climb. Climb.
That's a fucking bullet!
Okay. This game is like Just Cause. Yeah, it is in a way. Just Cause World War II. That blimp is really close. Oh no, no.
Sorry, Jews.
Great. Tried to jump on the I tried to jump on the wire to catch that, but it was
I know it is necessary, but hiding in here just feels sacrilegious. Monsieur, interest you in some personnel protection?
okay, here we go. Okay, I just have 2 things left in this town. Yeah, this part of the map is pretty much gonna be completed when I
Hard work is good for the soul.
Looking for a new
yeah, I
car,
don't
monsieur?
talk, you know, modern politics. I stay away from that.
You should have your license taken away.
Stun jump. Okay. Okay, we got out of there. Ooh. Pro super chatted you. Bro, can you list your top 10? Oh, what, did I miss a super chat? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Greatest Within. It's top 10, like, top 10 games, top 10 Rockstar games. I would say my favorite Rockstar game of all time would have to probably be, GTA 4. GTA 4, and then behind that would probably be Vice City. Third would probably be San Andreas. Then it would be, what else we got there? After San Andreas, it would probably be, Vice City Stories, Liberty City Stories, LA Noire. Oh no, Red Dead Redemption probably after that. And then Red Dead Redemption 2, LA Noire, and Red Dead Redemption. I mean, I don't want to really rank those games. I like all of them in I don't really know what order I'd rank them in. Let's see perks here. Try to get in disguise here.
Das melde ich lieber.
Ah.
My toothless old Gram's tougher than you.
Okay, let's get back up here. Was Poland during communist times that bad? It depends on the period. If you're talking about the 50s, it was really bad. Really, really bad. 60s, you know, a little bit less worse. You know, 80s, you know, things started cooling down more. Oops. Okay. Is that even gonna destroy the rocket? No, it's not. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, tank down there too. Okay, well. Great. How is he? Okay, there we go. Got him, okay. Oh, come on.
Shite.
Oh my god, come on. That was stupid. He should have died from that.
Monsieur, interest you in some
Oh, can I finish
personnel
the
protection?
question? Getting rich on YouTube gaming? Oh, right. I'm sorry about that. I got distracted by a bunch of things. Okay, the worst thing that you can possibly do, in my opinion, if you want to be a gaming YouTuber, the worst thing that you can possibly do is probably going into YouTube expecting to be, you know, this massive, big guy on YouTube. I'm not trying to get anybody down or anything like that. Just hear me out what I'm going to say. Is most YouTubers who become, like, popular on YouTube don't become popular just going into that and just basically thinking that they're going to be this massive, like, you know, a success. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is that you should have a backup plan. That's more of what I'm getting at. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be, I should rephrase that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be successful on YouTube and doing well on YouTube. But the thing is that I never went into YouTube thinking that I was going to be successful on YouTube. I always had a backup plan, what I was going to do instead. So that's what I think is, most YouTubers do YouTube as like kind of like a hobby. And they eventually get popular on something and they blow up. And it's based on luck a lot of times too. There is luck involved in this. Where, you know, sometimes there's luck initially, luck at the start, but then later on there's more skill involved. But what I will say is that don't go into YouTube thinking, you know, oh, I'm gonna be, like, you know, big on YouTube. Like, just make sure you have a backup plan. Like, do something else first. Like, make sure that you have a job and, like, something else. Like, don't just, you know, do YouTube when you're able to support yourself fully on YouTube. That's what I'll say about it. So I'm not trying to, you know, get anyone down or anything like that. Yeah, so it's just basically, look, if you want to be successful on YouTube, what I would say is do YouTube as a hobby, but don't give up everything else just to do YouTube, because that's the worst thing that you can possibly do, is when you give up everything to become a YouTuber and it doesn't work out. Do YouTube as like a hobby, something for fun. And then eventually, when you get popular enough, then if you think you can support yourself, then do YouTube, I guess, mainly. That's what I would say about that. But, like, I saw this kid on Dr. Phil once, who, he didn't want to do anything. And this one kid on Dr. Phil, his mom brought him on Dr. Phil, and he didn't want to get a job or do anything else. He's like, I just want to be a successful YouTuber. That's, like, all he was just talking about. And he didn't think about anything having, like, a backup plan. And Dr. Phil wasn't entirely truthful on that either, because Dr. Phil was talking about how much views can get you money. The way I was watching it, it depends really on the channel. And, like, what Dr. Phil was describing to the kid about YouTube wasn't entirely true, but the kid also had, like, a really bad mindset in which he was just thinking that he's just going to do YouTube and that's it and nothing else. And I never went into YouTube thinking I'm just going to do YouTube and nothing else. That I never went into that. It was just something that I just did as a hobby, and my early videos were kind of crap. They weren't really good. And eventually, you know, they blew up, and it got big, and that's what I ended up doing. But that's what I'll say about that, is, like, don't go into YouTube thinking, oh, I'm just going to do YouTube and nothing else. I mean, do you guys understand what I'm saying? I hope that that helps. Make sure that you have a backup plan. And even if you're a successful YouTuber, it's important to have a backup plan. I mean, YouTube is not my only source of income. I do the stock market, but I kind of did a little bad on the stock market recently. But I do the stock market, and I do also rental property. Rental property is my second, main source of income. And I have that my rental property is because I don't want it to be totally dependent on YouTube. I want to, get money from other sources as well. So that's what's the next San Andreas video going to be about? Well, it's going to be a surprise. I don't want to spoil it, Josh. But no, I hope people understand me. I'm not trying to get anybody down. I hope everybody can become a successful YouTuber, like me. Like, I didn't think I could ever be this popular as I am now. But I say that if you're gonna go into YouTube, do something. Make sure that you don't go into YouTube with just wanting to do YouTube and nothing else. That's what I'll say about it. Because I don't think that's a good way to go about it. Damn, how am I gonna get rid of these guns?
That's what you get, fucker!
Keine Bewegung. Leute, Suchmuster ein! Für die Kameraden! Ich verpasse ihn!
Ah, great. Yeah. Yeah, basically a part-time hobby. That's what I'm saying is,
Alarm. Weapons. I know it.
I seen the Dr. Phil episode, the kid that wanted a $1,000 allowance every... Yeah, well, that's not, that was that girl, I think, that you're talking about. But, there was a kid that was on Dr. Phil also, where he wanted, he didn't want to do anything, didn't want to, he didn't want to go to college. You don't even need to really go to college, but, do something at least, is, trade school or some kind of job. But there was this one kid on Dr. Phil who he just didn't want to do anything except, YouTube, and he didn't, I don't think he understood a lot about it, personally. Yeah, Claude and Jimmy P video will eventually come out. But I have a guide on, like, YouTube that I made, like, Ultimate YouTuber Guide. It's on my channel, made it a few years ago. I hope that helps. I mean, do you guys understand what I'm saying, though? It's like, just, if you're gonna do a YouTube, just do it as like a hobby. Don't have it as your main thing, because that's a bad idea, I think, personally. Just have it as your main thing. You want to always have a backup plan. Because I think that if a kid goes just wanting to do YouTube, and, just wanting to do YouTube and nothing else, I don't think it's gonna go well for him. Mr. Beast doesn't have a job. That's not true. His YouTube channel is his job. What are you talking about? Maybe a little bit, but I don't, I don't know, Justin. Maybe a little bit.
Irgendwas ist hier cool.
Okay.
Hochstapler! Treibt
Der
ihn raus!
Saboteur hat aus...
Schnappt euch das Schwein!
Come on. Damn, he's still alive. That. Okay. Okay, there we go. Clear. What do you mean, Palm? But did you guys understand what I meant about like my advice for like if you want to be a YouTuber earlier? Yeah, I wasn't trying to get anybody down. I was just saying that, you know, make sure that you always have a backup plan. That was just my point with just YouTube. Even if you're a successful YouTuber, I think that it's a bad idea just to do YouTube and nothing else. Are you gonna Assassin's Creed Mirage? I'll probably give it a try, yeah. Yeah. And do YouTube mainly as a hobby, but make sure you work like a job and do YouTube as a hobby. And then when you think, you're popular enough on YouTube, do that. It's gonna be a nightmare climbing down from this. Oh, here
Felt
it
a
is.
bit naked there.
For listening to you while I'm trying to sleep is relaxing. Oh, okay. No, I don't follow that channel, Bisky. Okay, yeah. We did really good there in the countryside. to Germany? Well, Germany's the hardest part of the map. I think I might save Germany for the end. Screw it. Okay. You inspired me to start YouTube gaming. I like how you built a community in GTA, now expanded. I want to do the same. Well, thank you, Ant. What I will say though, Ant, is make sure that you always do what you enjoy doing on YouTube. It's just don't do necessarily what always gets the most views, because you're not going to be happy. Because a lot of people do that where they just focus on just the views on YouTube, and I think that's a bad idea.
Spoiling for a fight, are you?
Oh no. Oh, damn. That really sucked. Oh, that's the touch of death. I think that's what that takedown is called. You have to silently kill 5 stealth. You have to stealth kill 5 generals to unlock that.
It's necessary, but hiding in here just feels sacrilegious. Laurent, whip up.
We'll go out here, maybe there.
It's honest work. Red wine is the blood of God.
You need a different car.
Bro, you should buy the silver and golden perks skip from the, so you can use them on the car challenges. Oh, I think I already purchased them, though, so I can't purchase them again, Bunny. Thank you for the super chat.
That's not gonna
Yeah, I
fall
play
down.
GTA. I stream it every Sunday. Okay, how far am I from this right now? No, not that far.
serce.
I'm level like 1,000 something on GTA.
Some fucking master race.
You heard what Sean said there, some master race. Just making fun of the Nazi Aryan race crap. Okay. Destroy that. Oh no, I'm not getting 100% tonight, but we're gonna get close to it. Okay, destroy that. More World War II games should have French tanks on Western Front and Czech and Hungarian tanks the Eastern Front, even that my favorite World War II games, World at War, has mostly King Tigers and stuff. Yeah. Well, this game covers, a part of World War II that you don't really see a lot, which is the Nazi occupation of France. France is a setting in a lot of World War II games, but it's when 1944, when you're playing as like an American going through France. You don't really see like the occupation itself in a lot of games. Call of Duty World. I tried to do a playthrough of Call of Duty World at War in the past, but I got striked by YouTube. YouTube struck me for that. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that again. I don't know what they struck me for. They claimed it was harmful and brutality policy, but...
Excuse me.
Take this down now. I don't know what YouTube's problem is, but that was their mindset. Okay, right up there will be another one. Yeah, didn't really need anything in there. It's destroyed just to get the credit for that. Bridge here might be able to take it down too. Use this to get through here. Yeah. Be careful here. I don't get spotted. Come on. Plant bombs in the bridge. Okay.
Come on, you fucking poofter!
Can you liberate Saarbrücken? You're talking about the German province? No, you can never liberate that one. Ooh. Wow. What a fail there. I can't believe I failed like that. Yeah, that was a really stupid fail. I can't believe I failed like that.
Jesus, this place smells like old sausage.
You need something deadly?
Okay, let's see. Okay.
Der kann sich nicht verstecken.
Granat!
Ich bin der Feind schießt.
Okay. Am I gonna play the new Harry Potter game? Maybe if I get around to it, I might.
Seltsam.
Er kann nicht einfach so weg sein. Finde sie!
Jackboots look ready to go.
Verdammt, die haben einen Fuß erwischt!
Ah, damn.
Pig.
Days Gone? Yeah, I could do a replay of that.
Geschossen!
Oh, I don't know how they detected me there, but okay, get out of here.
Wanker's shooting at me!
Yeah, we gotta run. But we're gonna cause a bit of chaos here. Might be able to get disguise here too. Oh, come on. I was trying to hang over the rail. I hate that when this game, it's like you fall off so easily here. Hey, Aaron, what's up, man?
Tomorrow I'm going to scrub away this old blood. Psst. I got weapons, monsieur.
Looking a little bit bunny. You get the disguises in this game where if the disguises work in restricted areas, but you can't get too close. If you get really close, they the disguise will get ruined. It won't work. Okay. Yeah, all those dots are still Nazi targets to destroy. So there's still a lot of stuff to take down. See what all that stuff is over there.
So sorry.
Yeah, I'll do Red Dead Redemption 1 gameplay one day too.
I've heard the pigs.
About
They're
in the city.
deserting in droves.
Please, a little something so I can eat.
Well, the Kriegsmarine were mostly out at the water, but the Kriegsmarines were the ones who started World War II, because Poland, the Kriegsmarine bombarded Poland with battleships. That's how World War II started. Hey Pro, how are you? My Xbox X will be ready to play next month. I think the game will be my first to get. I got 2 140mm fans for it. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Eric. Oh, it's good that you're keeping your console cool. A lot of people don't think about that.
I'm gonna kick your arse back to Berlin.
Du, Waffenfeind!
Oh, come on, the gun's not turning. Damn, that gun wasn't turning. That... Yeah, I've got to be careful here. Oh man, there's somebody up here. don't think you can launch this, can you? No, can't.
Brauche Deckung!
The red stuff's supposed to stay on the inside.
Whoa! Whoa, whoa.
Motherfuck!
What the? Okay, yeah, that... Wow. Huh. Yeah, that...
Tomorrow, I'm going to scrub
The red
away
stuff is
this
supposed to
old
stay on
blood.
the inside, yep.
I deal in weapons.
Oh, and I was gonna check the upgrades, right?
Finally, I can relax.
Monsieur, interest you in some personal protection?
Machine gun capacity, pistol capacity, rifle capacity, rocket capacity. Oh, that'll help. Yeah, I don't think I have any more than that. I play with Xbox controller right here. So yeah, I do use an Xbox controller. Hey, Pro, I have a question. I completed the 50 taxi fares online. I haven't got the taxi. Why is that? It's 50 to get it, or it's more? I'm trying to remember. What do you? Can somebody remind me in the comments? Man, I made a guide on this like a few weeks ago, and I'm forgetting. What did you get for 50 fares? I think it was it the skin for the Broadway taxi, or was that was the stunt jump one? I'm getting it mixed up now. Thank you, nicest person in the universe, for the super chat. What do I think about the fall of colonial empires? I think it's generally a good thing. You know, people were free to rule over themselves. Okay. Let's get over here. How do I get to the top of this building? is there a film that shows the Volkssturm units that were in the Battle of Berlin? You're talking about the civilian militias that Germany had drafted at the end of the war when they got desperate. Yes, they are. They do appear technically in Sniper Elite V2. Technically, most of the enemies that you're fighting should be Volkssturm, but they kind of more German army. But also in World at War, technically they should also be Volkssturm, but they're mostly like German army. I think I climb right here. Yeah. Come on. The best movie that shows like the Volkssturm units is in the movie Downfall. Downfall, it's that movie. It shows them in it.
The throttle's the other pedal, genius.
Yeah, climbing in this game can sometimes get really complicated. Yes, it is, Justin. The thing is, though, is that what a lot of people don't know is that that scene where, you know, you see all the Hitler parodies where he's just, like, ranting in his bunker, that actually happened in real life. That scene where he got, like, really angry and just threw the pen and everything like that. That exact scene actually happened in real life. Let me, take this guy out here first. There we go. Okay, now, are there any fictional scenes in Downfall? Downfall is actually a pretty historical movie. It's pretty historically accurate, for the most part. Yeah, Downfall is, pretty historically accurate for the most part. Trying to think, is there anything in that movie that's not historically accurate? I don't know, but, I will say, though, that scene when Hitler gets all pissed off and he just throws his pen and just starts ranting in the bunker, that actually happened. And the reason that he was getting all pissed off in that scene was because Hitler was extremely delusional, and for the most part, he would always say that Germany's victory is right around the corner. Like, he would always claim that Germany is going to win the war. And even in, like, the last few weeks when Germany was on its last legs and, like, about to collapse, like, he was still fully confident that he was going to win World War II. Still even. And that one, he ranted, that was the first time that he actually admitted that the war was lost. Basically what happened was, there was this general called Felix Steiner. Felix Steiner was supposed to get, like, a force of 80,000 soldiers together. And that force of 80,000 soldiers, they were supposed to attack the Red Army directly, and the Steiner's force consisted mostly of Volkssturm, which were civilian militias, and so a lot of Hitler Youth, and so these were like old people, like people who were not fit to fight, and like kids that were in the German army. So basically, on paper, it looked like he had 80,000 soldiers, but he had 80,000 soldiers that were sick, old, and kids. That's really what his force was like. And they didn't even have proper equipment. They didn't have enough ammo. And Hitler basically ordered Steiner to launch this big counterattack where he was going to just basically throw all of those 80,000 like sick and elderly people and kids towards Soviet tanks. And the Soviets actually numbered somewhere around 2 million when they were approaching Berlin. And so Hitler, in his mind, somehow thought that that force of 80,000 was somehow going to turn around a Soviet army of 2 million. That's really how delusional Hitler was. He somehow thought that that plan was going to work, because Hitler always thought that he was always right no matter what, and he considered himself a military genius. Hitler was not a military genius. Do you know who was a military genius? Do you know who Hitler's generals were smart, and they had advanced technology for the time. But Hitler was not a smart commander by any means. He was not a tactical genius. He was an idiot. Do you know who the only real, like, you know, dictator who was actually a tactical genius was? Napoleon. Napoleon was the only dictator that was actually a very smart when it came to tactics. But Hitler was a complete idiot, and he thought that he was always, he thought that his tactics were always right. But, basically, yeah. So what happened is, you know, what do you guys think would have happened if Steiner had sent that force of, like, 80,000, like, elderly people and, like, kids towards Soviet tanks? What do you guys think would have happened in that situation? Because Steiner didn't carry out the attack. He actually refused to carry out the attack. Oh, great. I'm gonna... Yep, messed up here. Yeah, but, okay, here we go. Yeah, they would have been destroyed. There would have been nothing left of them. And so Steiner himself was not a good man. Steiner was an SS general, but Steiner even said that he's not doing that because he said that everyone's gonna get annihilated and there's no point. And what happened was when Hitler realized the order wasn't carried out, he freaked out. He went on this massive rant and he called he basically started ranting about the generals, and he called the generals like a bunch of cowards. And the thing is, though, Hitler never took responsibility. In the end, he never admitted that he was wrong, ever. He never admitted that he was wrong. There's never any proof that he expressed regret for any of the stuff that he did. Thank you, Greatest Within, for the super chat. I've seen Schindler's List, but that was a long time ago. That was one of Liam Neeson's best performances. But that's how delusional Hitler was. He thought that, like, this 80,000 force of, like, elderly people and kids was somehow going to turn the entire Red Army around. Oh, I know about that, the Pencil of Doom memes, Mr. Waifu. I've seen those before. Hitler made a lot of stupid decisions in World War II. What do you think was the stupidest decision Hitler ever did? Starting the war. The stupidest one. That was literally, but if you have to go just through the war itself, the stupidest one, literally invading the Soviet Union was the stupidest one. They were mostly civilians, though, Volksturm. They weren't trained soldiers.
That's for Jews!
There we go, nice. There we go, now we're making some progress. No, that's not true, Brian. That's not. Look, here's the thing is that, look, how great. Here's what people don't understand about the Nazis. A lot of people actually don't realize just what the whole plan of the Nazis. It was actually, the Nazis were going to slaughter hundreds of millions of people if they had won the war. They would have killed everyone in Eastern Europe and, you know, Ukraine, Poland, Russia. They would have just slaughtered everyone there. The Nazis, there were certain groups of people that they hated the most. Like, they hated people who were Jewish, they hated people who were gay, people who were handicapped. But the thing about that is, like, one person mentioned in the comments that if you had blonde hair that you were safe. No, that's not true. You know, the whole, like, blonde hair, blue eyes, the Nazis, you know, believed in the Aryan race. But the thing is, though, is they only saw certain people as Aryan. They didn't see other people as Aryan. Even if you were blue, if you were Polish and you had blonde hair and blue eyes, which, you know, I have blonde hair and kind of, like, greenish eyes. You know, the Nazis don't see Slavs, Polish people, as Aryans. They still see them as inferior. So even if there's like a Russian who has blonde hair and blue eyes, the Nazis still see them as inferior. The Nazis would only consider somebody superior if they're of Germanic descent and they have blonde hair and blue eyes. So that's what it is. So it's so it didn't matter if you had blonde hair and blue eyes. If you were like a Slav, they would have killed you. So it was just that. If you were Jewish and you had blonde hair and blue eyes, they were still gonna kill you. So it was just they only considered Germanic people who had blonde hair and blue eyes to be Aryan. Okay, see here. Nope, what, Chase? Well, I couldn't pronounce his name in my playthrough, the Thai Marshal. That's why That guy is stupid if he thinks that Reddit Online was doomed just because of its setting. But yeah, a lot of people don't realize how evil the Nazis truly were. The Nazis were evil, but I don't think people realize to the full extent. It was that the Nazis were much worse than the Soviets, much worse. Like I've seen a lot of people that say that the Soviets were worse than the Nazis. No, I disagree. I would say the Nazis are much worse than the Soviets. I don't like the Soviets either. The Soviets were definitely very cruel and very horrible. But the Nazis were far worse because the Nazis would have won the war. They would have killed hundreds of millions of people. Do you think Japan would backstab Marshal Fibern if they won World War II? Probably not, because Japan did not have the resources to control all of Asia. Like, they were stretching their resources thin. And if they tried to take over Thailand, for example, like Thailand, they had a friendly government in that region that basically did what they wanted. Thailand let Japan move troops through it, and they let Japan also build its railways through it. So there was really no reason for Japan to take over Thailand. So I don't think that Japan would have betrayed Thailand. Japan just didn't have the resources to occupy that also. If they have a friendly government there, they're going to keep it.
Made a fucking massive head.
Let's try to get this guy's here. Would the Nazis backstab Italy and Japan? They did. They backstabbed Italy during the war. They did. Well, Italy changed sides, but after Italy changed sides, the Nazis, what they did was they actually annexed part of northern Italy, and they actually slaughtered Italian prisoners of war. So after they captured Italian prisoners of war, they executed them in mass numbers. And then what the Germans basically put a puppet government into Italy, and the puppet government did not have as much power over its own country as it did beforehand. So yes, the Nazis would have, to answer your question, yes, they betrayed Italy, and they were gonna, if they had won the war, they would have taken Italy. Yes. Japan, I don't think, would have taken Thailand, but Germany would have definitely taken, Italy. How is that gas station still not blowing up? I'll see you, Aaron. Damn.
Fucking hell, bleeding all over!
There we go. Now we're doing some damage. Okay. A video game collection video? Maybe I could do something like that one day. Yeah. Oh, God.
The shooting started.
No Treibschuss.
Great. Wonderful.
Oh, is this it?
Damn, yeah, I couldn't get away. I have a San Andreas lore video coming out. Okay, let's see here. Well, we did definitely do a lot of damage. Pearl Harbor was a pretty good movie. I think the best parts of Pearl Harbor were the attack. I think that was probably the best part of it, the movie. But there's other, like, the romance in Pearl Harbor, I think, was just stupid. Like, I didn't like the romance in that one, because it was, like, half of the movie in Pearl Harbor was, like, two guys arguing over one girl. That's basically what it was. I remember the one guy, he went to Europe to volunteer to fly for the British, and then he supposedly died, and then the other guy, like, he was dating his girlfriend, then he turns out he's actually alive, he comes back, and there's, like, a big argument over that. I wish they didn't have that romance stuff in Pearl Harbor, because that was just stupid, I think. I like the battle itself, you know, you think you watch a movie called Pearl Harbor, you think it's going to be mostly about the battle, but instead it's, like, the romance. That was just the worst part of the movie. If you want to watch a good Pacific movie, a really good one, watch Midway, the one that came out in 2019. There was no romance drama in that one. It was actually strictly about the Battle of Midway, and it was really good. What was the case you posted today on Twitter? I didn't know, as I'm from India. Well, hello, and Anurag Gupta, if I'm reading your name correctly. Basically, the case I was talking about was Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, basically a year and a half ago, Alec Baldwin had actually, was recording a Wild West movie, and the revolver that he had on set was loaded with an actual bullet, because a lot of times movie sets will use real guns. The reason they use real guns is because real guns are actually cheaper to have in movies than props. A lot of people don't know that. So a lot of times you see guns in movies, they're actually real guns instead of prop guns, because prop guns actually cost more than real guns. If you want to know why do real guns cost more than prop guns, it's because some of these guns have been so mass produced, there's so many out there where it's actually they cost less than the prop gun. Or a prop gun, you basically have to make the whole gun from scratch again, but you have to make it look just like the actual gun. So that sometimes makes it you know, if you're doing like a World War II movie, for example, and you have a bunch of Russian soldiers running a Mosin Nagants, it's actually cheaper to actually have real Mosin Nagants than have props, because Mosin Nagants are very cheap. A lot of times when you see AK-47s in movies, a lot of times AK-47s are real in the movies because they're cheap to manufacture. There's a lot of them in total. But anyways, what I was saying about the Alec Baldwin thing is Alec Baldwin's gun had actual live ammunition in it, and so he pointed at one of the people on the set and he killed this poor girl, and he shot and killed her. And now Alec Baldwin, there's two people at fault here. There's the armorer, the person that was responsible for the guns, and then there's also Alec Baldwin. Now about Alec Baldwin, is well, actually, the AK-47s in Lord of War were all real. They were Czech assault rifles, but they were all real. What was it? So Alec Baldwin actually lied to the police. He actually claimed he never pulled the trigger, but several gun experts have actually done tests in which they've shown that they've shown that it's impossible for that revolver to go off while pulling the trigger. So Alec Baldwin is being charged with involuntary manslaughter right now. Involuntary manslaughter basically means that you caused somebody's death. You didn't intend to cause that person's death, but your reckless behavior caused that person's death. And so he can face up to 2 years in prison now for that. Yeah, I agree with you, Jimmy. I personally think these actors should learn proper firearm safety, because even if you're an actor, if you handle a real gun in a movie, like if you know that it's a real gun, you should learn proper firearm safety. And Alec Baldwin actually skipped safety meetings when they were recording the movie. And on top of that, not only did he skip safety meetings, staff actually walked off that same day to protest unsafe working conditions. And so then the whole thing happened after that. So I think he is guilty. Hello, Pan. How are you? Greetings from the Czech Republic. Well, hello, man. How are you? And Gupta, have you by any chance seen my Hitman video? Just want to know. Have you? Yeah, I would. The thing is, I agree with you. I would support that. If there was like a law where like actors had to learn proper firearm safety. I'm not saying they have to get a license or anything like that, but if actors, there should be some kind of law where actors have to go to an actual shooting range, practice with these firearms, understand basic safety being taught to them. That should be it. Because just because you're an actor doesn't mean that you get to say, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know that it was like about the gun. So I would agree with you on that. Oh, did you, Gupta? Gupta, let me ask you something. What did you think of what's the city name in Hitman? It's the Indian city. I forgot what it's called, because there's a mission in Hitman that takes place in India. Mumbai, I think that's what it's called. What did you think of Mumbai in Hitman? Did you think it was a good depiction of the city? No, I can't play any instruments. Despite how much the paper sums up about how close Thai and Japan was in World War II, there was a great controversy between the opinion on side with Japan or side against Japan back then. Well, the thing is, Patrick, is Thailand had a minimal role in World War II. Thailand did send some soldiers into Burma to help Japan, not a lot. Thailand was mostly that country that allowed Japan to go through. But the worst thing that Thailand did during World War II is when they allowed that railway to be built in their country, because thousands of people died on that railway. The Japanese worked people to death. Like, the Japanese kidnapped people from like Burma, like civilians, and they were just working them to death. And that was probably the worst thing that Thailand did in the wars, that they allowed that railway to be built in their country. But I talked about that in my part. I'm sure you watched. How come a resistance fighter isn't enough to fully defeat the Nazis? Well, the resistance can only... have you fired a firearm? Yes, a few. How come a resistance fighter isn't enough to fully defeat the Nazis? Well, the resistance did do their best to defeat the Nazis, but the Nazis just have way more resources. They have, tanks, a lot of munitions. They have a lot more numbers, too. So it wasn't easy, but the resistance still fought on. That's why I say the resistance are some of the most bravest people ever, that they stood up to that. But there was actually one resistance movement that did defeat the Nazis fully. You know what resistance movement that was? Yugoslavian resistance. The Yugoslavian resistance actually defeated the Nazis. They actually kicked the Nazis out of Yugoslavia. Yeah. What about Balkans? The super tank, the rat tank? No, that was a stupid design. It was dumb. It would have been destroyed by planes within a few days. I played Ghost Recon Wildlands, but I could do it one day, again. Could Alec Baldwin get blacklisted from Hollywood? I doubt it. I doubt they'll blacklist him. Alec Baldwin has a lot of connections. He's very well known in Hollywood. How did Yugoslavia beat them? Yugoslavia had a lot of... The Yugoslavian terrain was a lot of hills and mountains. It was very uneven terrain, a lot of forests too. And the Yugoslavians had a lot of tunnels that they used against the Nazis, which the Nazis weren't able to fight back against that. And so the partisans actually kicked the Nazis out. Yugoslavia is one of the few countries in World War II that actually liberated itself. New changes in the Godfather the Don's edition. A lot of the favors, the squad that follows you around, a lot more businesses. About Emperor Hirohito. Emperor Hirohito was guilty. He was not innocent by any means. But the reason that Emperor Hirohito was not prosecuted after the war was because basically the U.S. wanted to keep him as an ally. Because if they prosecuted him, then he could, basically Japan would have gone to civil war. And so it was better for the emperor to tell Japan to stand down, and then they would have listened. I was busy, Pro, but what I was saying is it's a good representation of poor area of India, Charles, which is basically favelas of India. Oh, okay. What did you think of the Indian hitman in not in my last part, but when I played the mission in India like a year and a half ago? There's an Indian assassin in the game, and he's called the Kashmirian. And apparently he's from the Kashmir Mountains, but he's a very dangerous man. He's a sniper. And you can encounter him in the mission, but you can actually make it so that he's actually after the same target as you, and you actually can trigger a bunch of events that will allow him to kill the one guy in the building. I forgot about him. But look up my part, Gupta. I'll tell you the name of the video if you want to look it up. Here, hang on 1 second here. I'll tell you what the name of the video is. Hitman 3 Part 11, Crashing the Train. That's what it was, about 2 years ago. Yeah, but it's, he's, the Indian hitman is in that part. They are called Suparas in India. They are found all over India, specifically in my state, Uttar Pradesh. Oh, okay. I've got a guy in YouTube comments telling me I can't possibly know everything in GTA costs if I haven't bought it all. He's never used a calculator. Well, Diego, I'll tell you this. I have a lot of money in GTA, but I haven't even bought everything. I don't own all the cars. I even missed out on the drip feed car last week because I really didn't care that much about it. But, you know, you don't need to own all the vehicles in the game to know a lot about the stuff in the game. So that guy's just wrong, Diego. Thank you for the super chat. Mr. Waifu, congratulations to Cringe Row for being on both Angry Joe's Most Disappointing Games and Worst Games of 2022 list. Truly one of the games of all time. Yeah, definitely one of the worst games of all time. Okay. Okay. One moment here. Wait, what's a Suparis? What is that? Suparis, what is that, Gupta? I can speak Polish, yes. Yes, Ghost of Tsushima, I would say, would be my top 10 games of all time. Yes, I like that game a lot. It was a great one. Oh, Indian hitmen. Oh, okay. If Germany only fought on the Western Front, they probably possibly could have won. Possibly. But eventually the US would have probably gotten involved too. And France would have been a lot harder to fight through if there was no Eastern Front. But I think they would have still eventually lost. A game that I bought that was really bad. The worst game that I bought was Saints Row. The reboot. That was the worst one. My worst game ever. Oh, that would have to be... I'd have to really think about that. Maybe a game called Brink. There was a game called Brink a long time ago. That might have been the worst one I ever played. Yes, I've been to Poland. Last time I was there was 2010. I don't know if Germany would have been able to beat the U.S. I mean, look at what happened in North Africa. You know, look at that. Like, when the U.S. arrived, the U.S. supplies destroyed the German supplies. Like, the U.S. logistics was so much better. Did you see my email? When did you send me it? What's the economic condition of Poland? Well, Poland is very much, you know, I would say a stable economy. But what I'll say about Poland is actually becoming like the strongest country in Central Europe, like militarily. Like Poland is spending a lot on its military, like a lot, and I think Poland is going to pass Germany eventually. I know that might sound ridiculous, but I think Poland is going to pass Germany in its military might eventually, and Poland is getting its military ready because Poland is really scared about Russian aggression, and so I don't blame Poland either for it. So that's what haters gonna hate and terrorist behavior. Oh, thank you, Mr. Wafer. You're talking about the Saints Row developers. Yeah, that was really stupid of them. No, I haven't, Christopher. Would you ever live in Poland? Maybe one day. I mean, I wouldn't want to live there permanently. Maybe have a property there one day too, but I don't know. But I guess I'll be my parents were from a small town city to the northeast, Missouri. Okay, Patrick, yeah. It was nice talking to you, too. Well, Gettysburg, I don't actually know that much about Gettysburg, honestly, Denny. I know a little more about Battle of Antietam, which Antietam was just a horrible battle when they went through, like, the wheat fields and the cornfields, and the soldiers would just shoot at each other. There's a lot of friendly fire incidents. They would go through a cornfield and they would bump into like another unit that was like in the cornfield also, and they'd shoot at each other. That was just really bad. Sorry I didn't join earlier. I was playing Cyberpunk. Well, thank you, Drift. You don't have to apologize. Watch whenever you want, man. I would design, like, if I had to design a Saints Row gang, I would just 3 new gangs. I would design a biker gang. I would design probably like an Eastern European mafia, like maybe like a Russian mafia. I would also design maybe like triads. So it's that. So I think that's how like you would make the game like very unique. Three gangs like that. I don't think so, Justin. There was German U-boats that actually sunk American ships in New York harbors, but that was about it. But I guess we'll be going here, guys. Thank you guys for watching my stream. I hope that you guys enjoyed my stream. Thank you for hanging out with me. And if you guys enjoyed the stream, do drop a like. It does help the channel out a lot. So thank you guys for Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys on the next one. We'll stream Red Dead tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.